You've got a bit of a grin on your face. How excited are you to get over there and get these next 2 weeks started?
Yeah, it's a big moment for me. So looking forward to heading to the fight capital and taking care of business.
How much have you enjoyed preparing for this fight here in these amazing, comfortable surrounds instead of being over in the US? And could this be the way for you going forward?
Yeah, I just love home. I love being able to train here, being able to bring people over. It's good being home, and the fact that I can finish my prep here and then go over there just for the business part. That's what I intend to do.
It's chilly here in Sydney at the moment, but nice and warm in a family environment here with Nikita here. He's had a big week, a very big week himself. Of course, Boris is here. How does it feel having all that love ahead of your departure?
You know what? I don't feel it because I'm so locked in and zoned in that it's just myself at the moment in this fight. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on, but yeah, I'm real solely focused on what I got to do.
Exciting for the family though, Nikita's news with little Curiosity being born a week ago today. How's everyone going?
Yeah, I think everyone's still in a bit of shock. Of course, it's the first one in the Tszyu family, so it's a great little gift that we got.
We are going to be chatting to Nikita shortly about his upcoming fight, but is he going to come over to Vegas as well? Will he be joining the tour?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm pretty sure he is. He's got a lot going on. But yeah, I think he's coming.
Talking just about boxing and your preparation, how's sparring been? I know you've had Michael Fox out here and others who have been doing their best to impersonate the gargantuan Sebastian Fundora. How have you found all the sparring and how are you feeling at this stage in preparation for this fight?
Yeah, good. 13 rounds yesterday, so we're definitely pushing the rounds out. Yeah, I got boys flying over from America. I had Taj from New Zealand, a few of the local boys helping me out, tall boys, and yeah, they're keeping me sharp, and prep's been good,
What will the next couple of weeks look like for you, the first week and then obviously leading into fight week?
Yeah, when I get to Vegas, I need to acclimatise, get myself nice and comfortable there. I know it's going to be a bit of a shock going from winter to the summer heat, but yeah, the week there I'll just finish a couple spars off, and then fight week is, you know what it is, it's making a bit of weight and then get into it.
Does it suit you though, do you think, this time to not be the main attraction, to have to share the spotlight with Pacquiao and Barrios, Isaac Cruz? There's just so many big names on this card.
They still got me doing media every day, so that hasn't really stopped. But yeah, it's good to be sharing the platform with so many aspiring professional boxers.
Just having a look around the gym, we just went over to the bags over there. They're all a little bit higher than usual. The speed bags up in the air. Clearly, you are preparing for Fundora and Fundora alone.
Yeah, he's been my sole focus for the last 10 weeks, and everything in this gym resembles the towering inferno.
You came face to face with him a few weeks ago at an announcement press conference. What was the vibe like between the pair of you? You've shared the ring, but you're about to do it again.
Yeah, back then we were still far away. Right now it's getting a bit more intense. When I look at him, it's going to be less smiles, and the closer it gets to a fight, the more serious it becomes, of course. But yeah, the vibe for me is different this time around. It's kill or be killed.
He comes across as a nice guy, but does that all go away this time around? It seemed like it was still there a little bit, even after that fight, but there seems to be an edge to him and to you.
Yeah, it's gone. We're both on each other's blacklist, and that's how I prefer it, actually, that way.
He did say after the announcement that he noticed a few things about you that day that suggested that you were a little bit nervous, that you were a bit uncomfortable. What do you say to that, and what did you notice about him a year on?
Look, I can't really tell much from something that's you're fighting 7 weeks away. What am I going to be nervous about? There's nothing to be nervous about. He should be the one that's nervous, because he had me in a world of trouble with this cut, and now when I'm coming in fresh, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, how do you think he's going to approach things in this fight, and how much more dangerous can he be with the benefit of a full training camp?
He had a full training camp. He had it all, He was prepping for an orthodox, tough boy. similar style to me, you know, the Eastern European type style. So I don't know where he's coming from, but for me, I got a full prep now. Had 2 southpaws, and yeah, it's a different vibe, this one.
You've been saying a few times now he should have killed me when he had the chance. What does that mean to you? What does that mean?
Basically means that what's coming for him is going to be a world of trouble.
Tell us about that trouble. What happens in this fight? We know that in the early stages of the previous fight, it looked like you'd worked him out. It really did look like you'd figured out that tall opponent. But this time around, what are you expecting?
Yeah, it's a more, I guess, serious, calculated approach, this one. The feelings is different. It's not just a win, but to have his body lying on the floor, that's what I intend to do. And that's what I've been envisioning for the last 10 weeks.
Have you envisaged what will come next for you if you do win this fight? The mega fights, the money, the opportunities. Have you allowed yourself to go there?
No, I haven't. I've thought about the cars. That's about it.
Well, we've thought about it, certainly, haven't we, Ben?
Yeah, it's obviously a very exciting fight. What about the fact that Manny Pacquiao is there? The presence of a legend who you've shared the ring with in sparring, just to have him in the building must be exciting. To be the co-main event to Manny.
Yeah, the fact that, you know, it's such a big spectacle. You know, it's going to be cameras times 1,000 because of Manny Pacquiao and the presence that he brings. So I'm looking forward for this whole opportunity. You know, it's going to be one hell of a show.
I know that you're sparring tomorrow, your last sparring session in Australia before you do fly out on Friday. What are you going to do for us here today, though, while the cameras are rolling?
I'll just start a bit of shadow boxing. I'm pretty sweaty already, but yeah, I'm just going to hit the pads for a little bit, and yeah, I got the big one tomorrow for the sparring, so I'll keep it nice and light today.
All right, we'll go and jump in. Go and show us what you've got. Looking forward to seeing Tim in the ring. Nikita's going to come and join us very shortly as well to talk about a bit about his personal life. As you said earlier, he's had a bit going on, but also about his upcoming fight. But just on Tim, seems really confident, seems really relaxed, you know, no limit, and everyone involved would be pretty happy with what they're seeing.
Yeah, you'd have to be. He's very professional, Tim Tszyu. He has been throughout his professional boxing career. Now he's at the very top level because he is co-main events on a Manny Pacquiao show. He's fighting for a world title in a fantastic rematch, a rematch that the whole boxing world really wants to see. And he seems calm, but you can tell that there is that little edge to him. Clearly, that loss against Sebastian Fundora, it set him down a path that he did not want to be on. So this fight is just so very important, and he knows that. So you can tell that he doesn't like that guy anymore. He doesn't like what he represents. He doesn't like what he did the last time, and he's planning to make things all right when he gets back over to Las Vegas. And I think he's pretty keen to get there as well.
There seems to be an edge about Fundora as well, a bit of a quiet confidence this time. Does that worry you at all about where that's come from and that perhaps he's seeing something that we're not?
He seems remarkably different to how we've seen him at any stage in his professional career so far, Sebastian Fundora. Usually he is the nice guy. He doesn't make any qualms about that fact. He's friends with everyone, his opponents, even after he's knocked them out and before. But this time around, clearly someone has got on his nerves. He doesn't like the fact that he didn't get that Errol Spence fight in between. He doesn't like some of the politics that went on. He's even disputing the fact that he had a broken nose after that previous fight. He says that he could have fought a few weeks later in a rematch with Tim Tszyu or in that Errol Spence fight. So I think there's a bit going on with Sebastian Fundora where he is at, and you just have to wait and see how that does impact him on fight night, because clearly he's never had that before. He's never been that sort of a personality, and Tim even noticed it there. There's that edge between the pair of them. So yeah, it's an interesting factor, and it will be interesting to see how he is once we get over there to Las Vegas.
Why take this fight though if you are Fundora? Because he didn't need to. He would know as well what we saw in those opening 2 rounds, that it was Tim that had the edge and could well have gone on to win that first fight.
He's a warrior. He wants to prove himself again against Tim Tszyu. He was very good in the one defence he's had of his title since that. But yeah, that fight against Tim Tszyu is always, in a lot of people's eyes and minds, going to have a little asterisk because of the enormous cut that Tim Tszyu suffered, and because of the trajectory of the fight before that did take place. It was also just such a brilliant fight. So I think him, being a true warrior, wants to relive it. But he wants to get rid of any doubts in anyone's mind. He wants to win this fight, perhaps with no cut or perhaps with cuts again, and prove it was no fluke the first time around. Because, perfectly honestly, it did look like Tim had him worked out so quickly before that cut did appear in that fight. It looked like he was starting to land big punches on the much taller man. He'd found the target. He was starting to break him down, we thought. But then all hell broke loose and blood ran into his eyes and the complexion of the fight completely changed. So we get to see it perhaps without all of those issues this time around.
What about Tim's mindset going into this fight? Obviously a lot of question marks going into the Joey Spencer fight about whether he'd sort of got over those couple of losses. He proved that he has, but obviously Spencer's a completely different level of fighter than Fundora is. So, do you still have concerns about Tim's mindset?
I think that some element of the jury will be out on Tim Tszyu until he gets hit really hard by an opponent, because Joey Spencer, he completely eliminated. He dominated him, stopped him pretty much as he thought that he would, but in the Bakram Murtazalia fight before that, obviously he was hit with a lot of big shots. He was hurt badly, and ultimately he was stopped for the first time in his career. Then we go back to the Fundora fight and he was cut and he was hit with a lot of shots there also. So yeah, I'm sure that Tim would like to take a shot and walk through it and continue on and to prove to himself and to everyone else there are no issues, but perhaps scar tissue does exist. That's one of the great things about this matchup and this rematch is we get to see Tim Tszyu tested against a truly world-class fighter, someone he's been in there with before, and see exactly where he is at, because he looks good. He looks great against Joey Spencer, but you just don't know until you truly know.
And I wonder as well, stepping back into the Lions Den, he was so comfortable at home in Newcastle. He spoke after that fight a lot about having that crowd support back, everyone chanting his name in the venue, how that spurred him on. He's not going to have that this time, is he? And he's been through that before, and that's really tough being in enemy territory.
Yeah, I think he found it very tough in Orlando in particular. That was not a big, exciting venue. It was a hall, essentially, and he walked out and was probably underwhelmed, I think, by the atmosphere he found himself in. Whereas if you go to a Tim Tszyu fight in Newcastle or in Sydney or anywhere in Australia, it is raucous and they're all right behind him. So it is a very different experience. And this time around, I think you'll find that the crowd will be split again, because there'll be Tszyu fans and Fundora fans. There'll be plenty of Manny Pacquiao fans as well. So it is a different atmosphere to going to Newcastle or one of those big Tim Tszyu events. And he's going to have to combat that, as he is all of the elements, going over there and making weight in the US. I think one thing in his favour this time around is that the IBF belt is not on the line, so he doesn't have to worry about weighing in on the morning of the fight again. That is a struggle and obviously a chore that no one needs on fight day. He gets to get rid of that this time around. But outside of that, there are still elements of fighting in Vegas that are very different to being at home, so Tim needs to show that he can adapt and prove that he can overcome those.
Yeah, he said he'll never do a fight again with the IBF after that ruling. But it will be interesting, I suppose, as we get into fight week and we go towards the weigh-in. He did really struggle against Spencer. He said after that was the toughest weight cut of his career. He said, read about it in my book one day. So I guess, what do you think about that and how he's going to handle it this time?
Yeah, he seems to have done it quite tough in a number of these fights. And looking at him now, clearly there is quite a bit of weight still to lose for him to make the super welterweight limit. But he's got plenty of time to do that. So despite the fact that he has done it tough on a number of occasions through his career, he has always made it. And I would be very, very surprised if he did not do that yet again. But yeah, clearly there's some weight still to get off him as he moves around here shirtless. But he's got a flight and the remainder of a fight camp in order to do that with his final sparring session on Australian soil here tomorrow. And yeah, it is notable just how big his arms are in particular. Tim Tszyu is no small man in this weight division, and going up against a man who is a legitimate giant as a super welterweight, maybe that is a good idea, taking that extra strength. And gee, there's plenty on those shots as well as he sits down on a right hand there, Tim Tszyu.
And I'm sure being in the hot summer of Vegas, he'll shed a bit of weight as well. I think we'll all probably drop a bit of weight. It's been, 40 degrees over there.
Yeah,
so
very different to here.
As he said, acclimatising over there, that's going to be something important for him too.
Yeah, and he's done it a few times now. So he goes over there for training camps, has done before. He's done training camps in Thailand in the heat as well. So certainly that will be something that he is used to, and he'll be looking forward to getting over there and starting that adjustment, because it means that the fight edges ever closer, and it's such an important fight for Tim Tszyu and for Australian boxing, really, because Tim Tszyu gets his opportunity to go there and right the biggest wrong, as he sees it, of his professional career so far.
Oh, as George Rose walks on in, hey, great to see you. A nice surprise. Great to see Tim looking so good in the ring. We're going to talk about Nikita's upcoming fight shortly, but gee, you must be happy with this preparation and that he's all good to go on Friday to Vegas.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. I mean, the training paces that I've seen him go through, he looks probably in the best shape we've seen in a while. The hair's back too. It makes him look that little bit younger. So he looks really fresh, and I think he's really rejuvenated for a big performance.
Yeah, he does look very fresh. Looks big and strong as well. Have you had much of an insight into the training and the preparation for Sebastian Fundora? Because clearly having a full camp is a bonus when last time he didn't have much time at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's had great sparring partners. A bit more time with a person who's as tall as Fundora, it really helps. And you know, I think it's only going to make for a fantastic outcome for Tim that we'll all get to see come July 20 here.
You're struggling a bit after walking up those steps, George.
I sprinted up them.
I know what it's like. There's a lot of steps here at the Zoo Boxing Academy, so I'll ask a long question.
I got stuck in the cyclone bomb. Haven't you seen the cyclone bomb?
I've heard all about it.
Stay safe, stay indoors.
But you must be looking forward to getting out of the cyclone bomb and getting over there to Las Vegas and being a part of a big event with Manny Pacquiao headlining at a world title fight, your own Tim Tszyu fighting a rematch that he simply had to have. It's a very exciting occasion.
Yeah, look, it's a bucket list type opportunity for any fighter to be fighting in Vegas at the MGM Grand, the other to be fighting on a card with Manny Pacquiao, one of the absolute legends of the sport. Tim Tszyu is going to be there, still in the show. Let's be honest. Fundora Tszyu, they're going to be still in the show because Tim's going to knock Fundora out. He's going to win that world title, and all everyone's going to remember is what Tim Tszyu did on that day.
We're speculating there's been a little bit of a different mood around Fundora, the way that he's handled himself a little bit. He's usually such a nice guy. That edge has sort of appeared in the lead up to this fight. Why is that? Is that something to do with negotiations, something to do with him and his camp and where he is, or the fact that he didn't get that Errol Spence fight, the fact that he is sort of being pushed towards Tim Tszyu? What's going on?
I think being the champ changes people. I think that's something that he's taken on board, is that he's the champion and that he's feeling very confident. He on paper, he got the win against Tim last fight. I still think that Tim absolutely had his number for most of that fight. So I think that he wants this one to try and rectify that, because a lot of people are saying that Tim Tszyu would have won that fight if it wasn't for the cut. And I think that that's something that he's taken into this fight. There is a little bit of a chip on the shoulder because of that, but man, it has been a different Fundora, a very confident Fundora. He looked very good in his last fight. He's got every right to be confident. He is the champ. And he's defended his title, so he's got every right to be confident, but it'll be a different story once they step into the ring.
Does this confidence worry you, though? Because we spoke about it with Tim before. He did have a little bit to say after that announcement a few weeks back. He said he's been doing a lot of work on body language and behaviours, and with his dad, he spoke about that in an interview with Sean Porter. So he was very, I suppose, critical of Tim's body language. He said he seemed uncomfortable, seemed a bit nervous. What do you make of those comments?
Look, that's fine. He can focus on body language. Tim Tszyu's focusing on chopping down the tree. That's what he's doing right here. That's what you're seeing. Tim's doing all the work to prepare him to win the world title. And if Fundora gets sidetracked, that's great. That's great, because Tim has been 100% focused on this fight. He's coming in to win the world title, and he's got Australia on his back as well. Everybody is supporting Tim, and I just can't wait to get over there, to be honest, because I know that Tim's going to prove a lot of people wrong, and he's going to get that title.
And is it business as usual in terms of preparations and fight week? Are you doing anything differently this time, George?
No, I don't think so. I think it will be business as usual. We'll turn up there solely focused on getting the win and letting everyone know that Tim Tszyu's in town. We will be in, letting that Aussie presence be felt in Las Vegas. So I know there's a big travelling party heading over, so I'm looking forward to catching up with everyone over there. But really just letting everyone know that the Australians are in town and that we're here to win a world title.
Tim Tszyu can't look ahead. He's done it before, but you have to as a promoter.
Yeah.
Where are your eyes off in the distance should Tim Tszyu do what you say and stop Sebastian Fundora in this rematch?
It's still one of the hottest divisions in boxing. I absolutely believe it's one of the hottest divisions in boxing. And while Tim's focused on winning this world title, I know that once he gets that world title around his waist again, it opens up the door for so many great fights. You've still got the likes of Charlo, Spence has been around, Lubin's around.
Still Thurman? Thurman's still
Keith Thurman. How could I forget Keith Thurman? You know, one of our most entertaining guys that we've ever brought out here to Australia. I'd love to get the opportunity with Thurman again. Thurman, all of these guys that are in this division. And I mean, I'm just rattling off a few. Think of all the ones that I haven't said already. You know, like. It's one of the deepest divisions in boxing, and not only for quality of opponents, but for entertaining fights as well.
All right, well, away from Tim for a moment, because little brother Nikita, I'll let you step in here in the middle, who we haven't seen in the ring for almost a year, has been good enough to join us. Now, before we talk to you, George, do you want to make the announcement? Nikita's got a big fight coming up.
Yeah, look, Nikita Tszyu is here. He is looking fantastic, and that's because he has got a fight coming up. August 20, Nikita Tszyu is back. The Butcher is back, and I cannot be more excited.
Any more details, location, opponent for Nikita? Can you tell us anything?
We've got to ease you into it. We can't give you everything in one go. You've got Tim Tszyu today. You've got Nikita Tszyu back. It's a good day. We're surviving cyclone bombs. It's a great day.
You must be over the moon. It's been a long time. You've been through a lot with your hand. You must be excited to pick up where you left off.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been 1 year, but yeah, it's been a little bit frustrating with the hands. It's been slower than anticipated, but everything happens for a reason. The timing was quite impeccable with my daughter being born a couple of days ago. So, thank you. So yeah, everything happens in perfect timing.
Congratulations on that. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about becoming a dad? George been giving you any newborn tips?
We're figuring it all out ourselves. Nah, I don't want to really talk about it.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about the name Curiosity, though? Because that's a fantastic and unique name that you've come up with there. Where did it come from?
My wife came up with it. She's had the name since she was 13 years old. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to get emotional.
All right, let's talk about boxing.
She means too much to me. I'm going to get very, very emotional.
Yeah,
already tearing up.
Oh, that's beautiful to see. What about your hands? I know you sparred yesterday. Mm-hmm. How does it feel today off the back of that?
I mean, it's not shit. It's much better than I thought it would be. Might just be something I have to deal with. It's not still hitting pretty hard, and I mean, injuries gonna come within this sport. Just gonna have to deal with them sometimes.
So you're confident that you'll be at full fitness on August 20 when this fight happens, then?
I mean, I've been pretty fit for the last 9 months. We were scheduling a fight in around March, but before Brock and Keith, actually on that date, I think. So I was prepared for that, and then kind of messed up my hand again in a little sparring session, which was the frustrating part. But then I've just been training ever since, waiting, really focusing on the recovery. Now we're there.
Any thoughts on potential opponents? Have you and George had a brainstorm?
There's a name that I've heard of. I think there's a couple other ones floating around, but my main goal is to just focus on myself. I've been doing a lot of that in this last year. I've been developing my skills quite well. Yesterday's sparring session was a good reflection of this last year. I feel like I've progressed a lot, feeling quite sharp. I have a lot of good awareness I found, and yeah, just got to keep working on that, be the best version of myself.
A lot of talk as well while you've been out that maybe that Michael Zarafa fight with yourself is going to happen later in the year. Is that of interest to you? Is that exciting?
I mean, it would be quite a monumental moment for my career if I get to fight and beat Michael Zarafa. He's a very experienced fighter. He's been in the ring with some greats, Kell Brook. It'll catapult my career, and he's kind of like a big hurdle for me to jump to break through the next stage. And I'm obviously not at his level. I'm below him, but to be the best, you have to beat the best. And he's a big step in the right direction.
And Zarafa will be on the undercard on August 20, is that right? And provided both men get through. I read that on foxsports.com.
Nick Walshaw dropping everything, eh? He's too good. Look, it is really exciting, and it's great to hear how humble Nikita is about both his talent, his ability, and what he can do in the ring. I think for everybody who's been waiting for the last 12 months to see Nikita back in action, this is a really exciting moment for all of us. And while I saw what he did in the ring this week, and he's saying that if he's saying that he's still not punching as hard as he possibly can, I hate to see what's going to happen when he is back at full strength, because I was feeling the pain from outside the ring here when he was throwing them punches, because I think he's looking fantastic, and I think it's great for Australian boxing that Nikita Tszyu is back.
So we've got two Tszyus a month apart in the ring. You know your brother better than anyone, Nikita. Watching him move around here today and seeing the final stages of his preparations before he goes to Las Vegas, what version of Tim Tszyu do we have ahead of this rematch?
I was briefly watching a little bit of his sparring yesterday, and the one thing that I've really noticed that he's improved on is his kind of like his twitchiness, the reactivity, and I'd say just twitchiness. It's a very reactive, quick, and that can lead to danger.
What does it mean, this rematch, to all the Tszyus, to him in particular, but all of you?
I mean, for Tim, it's redemption. It's getting back onto that mountain that he was kind of like pushed off. For me, it's joy of having my brother succeed. It's a big moment.
Are you making the trip over? Is Mum who's going over?
Nah, I'll be there. It's hard to leave home at this point, but my brother is my family, and I have to be there for him. I've realized that in this world of combat sports, we just have to be present sometimes, and I might not always be at home, but my wife's at home taking care of my child, and that's all that matters.
And is that still the goal for Nikita as well, to get to Vegas at some point, George?
There's no doubt Nikita's on that trajectory to end up there, and like he said, there's some huge fights ahead for him, and he'll make his name for himself, and he'll earn his way to the top, just like Tim did. And I know that one day we will be seeing Nikita Tszyu in Las Vegas, headlining.
Is that exciting to you, Nikita? I know you don't like to think too far ahead in your boxing career, but the fact that your promoter's talking about you headlining in Las Vegas, does that excite you?
Yeah, they spoke to me about it today, and it feels crazy. I mean, if they want to do it, they want to do it. I'll be grateful.
Hey, great to check in with you. Thanks for your time. Congratulations on everything else that's happening, and we'll see you in Vegas.
We'll see you then.
All right.
Thanks.
Georgie, stay with us. Great to check in with Nikita. This is such good news. When will you be releasing a few more details around August 20?
Yeah, look, well, I mean, we've got the big one coming up with Tim, so all the focus is on that at the moment. Tim Tszyu world title in Las Vegas. You've got to put all your energy into that right now, but it's great that Nikita's back training. He's locked in with a date. He's deep into camp, and I know that we're going to see a lot more of him and his quirkiness that everyone's grown to love over the years, coming out over the next few months.
Do you feel confident that everything's going to go to plan over in Vegas? I mean, we've all been through the bit of the roller coaster over the past year, but how do you feel going into it?
Absolutely, I don't look at it in any other way. I'm going there for the win, for Tim Tszyu to be world champion yet again, to get that WBC belt around his waist, and that's my focus. That's absolutely my focus. I know that he's put in some great work into it. It is boxing, anything can happen, but I think anything can happen in Tim Tszyu's favour in this fight, and I think that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, just watching him going through these final stages, do you see a different Tim Tszyu given those two losses and everything else that has happened to him through his career, being doubted? Is this a different version of Tim Tszyu that goes to America this time?
I think it's interesting hearing what Nikita had to say about him, the little things that he picks up. I mean, that's such a small change that obviously he's noticed, but the small changes are what can be the big difference in a fight like this when you're up against a guy who's a bit of a boogeyman of the division, a guy who's so tall, so long. Most people would steer clear of. Tim Tszyu running straight at him. He wants a rematch. He wants to get redemption in this one. And I think that you never question Tim's work ethic and the amount of effort that he puts into a camp. I know that he looks ready. He's got a great team around him. Everybody's working on what it takes to get the win. And I think the extra time in sparring in particular, I think that's the thing that's going to be the biggest benefit. When you've got to prepare for someone that tall, it's very hard. It's very hard. So having that extra time in sparring and going through their strategies and their techniques, I've never seen a planned strategy not come off for them. And I think that this time around, I think it will come to fruition.
Just finally, do you want to give us a prediction for the rematch? Does he stop Fundora?
I think it's something that everyone's going to have to tune in for, because I don't know when it'll happen. I don't know how it'll happen, but it's going to happen.
He's over here yelling out, of course, Tim Tszyu. So, yeah, he's confident, which is great to see, and he is clearly pumped, Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, we're all pumped. Hey, appreciate your time. Thanks for making this this broadcast, Ben, as always.
Thank you.
If you haven't already, scan the QR code, order Tim's fight, July 20 in Vegas. Manny Pacquiao, of course, the headline act as well. We'll be on the ground for all the build-up and all the fight day coverage as well. Look forward to seeing you then.
Introducing the Soul Taker, known as the People's Champion,